Understood. My thanks, bro. The lab is within that spire.
There's the cargo elevator. Look at all those spores. That'll be one hell of a fight. Shame to miss it. We should be down there with the rest of the company.
We will be, soon enough.
For me, I think this is another first for Space Marine, or at least in the 40k universe, where instead of putting us at the heart of a Hive city, or like in Darktide, where we're kind of near the bottom of the Hive city, it's actually nice to see what it looks like at the top. And I'm just going to assume that Avarax is just like any other Hive city, because the tip of this place is actually quite industrialized, and normally a Hive city at the very top is where the wealthiest people will live, while the poorest of the poor will remain towards the bottom. But it does look like there's plenty of structures there, so it probably is a residential area that does have some industrialization going on. But either way, it's pretty cool to finally see what the tip of a Hive city could look like in 40k.
I found an alternate route. Plotting now. Check your display.
Engines here. Your cogitator has remained idle for 3 hours. Please resume your defined functions.
And yeah, I'm just really soaking in the environment and on this particular level, just because normally, like I said, we're fighting from the inside of a Hive city, so you get to see what it looks like from the inside, but you never get to see what it looks like at the top. Here, we actually are at the top, so I'm just looking at everything. And if you haven't noticed, for those of you new to 40k, this is a very gothic. Everything is just gothic. Everything looks like a cathedral or a church, and that's because the humanity in the 40k universe is very, very zealotous. They're very religious. Everything and anything they do is for the Emperor of Mankind. So that is why the architecture looks like a church and everything. Even the statues kind of give off that that feeling. Just you can see this building here. That building though in particular kind of reminds me from, I forget what the city is called, but it's the city in Elden Ring where the Erdtree sits. And the first time I got into that city, I kind of just took in the sights because it instantly reminded me of 40k. And just looking at that building as I came in through this area, like that building right there looks just like the one from Elden Ring. And then look at that building right there. You can instantly see it. It just looks like a cathedral. Look at the spires. That gothic feeling is so. That's why I just love this. Not the game, but I just love this universe. Everything it's amazing. That's what it is.
What's for their lieutenants?
So the start of this mission actually defaulted me to the power sword for my melee weapon, and it's not too bad. I don't remember the power sword, and actually I don't think the power sword was in Space Marine 1, because I think it went from the dagger to the chainsword, and I think and then from the chainsword it went to the thunder hammer. I don't remember if the power sword was in there, but since this is the first time using the power sword in the game, it swings a little slower. It does hit harder, but it doesn't have the stagger, which is what I kind of like. I like to stun my enemies, especially when facing against the warriors, the Nid warriors. It's just easier to fight them with the chainsword. The power-up attacks for the power sword, when you hit the right bumper on the if you're on Xbox controller, and whatever is the equivalent to the PlayStation controller and whatever it is on keyboard, but you hit that, it powers up the sword to where you see it flashing in blue, or it's glowing blue with the electricity around it. Attacks will be stronger, but you kind of have to deal with not having stagger options, and then there's also that AoE from the chainsword, which is where you stomp the ground and it's kind of yeah, that's a way better finish for the chainsword. Otherwise, yeah, I could have picked the chainsword here, but I just stuck to using the power sword just to see if it does any better against some of the mini bosses. I can't remember if there's a mini boss in this level, but for now, I think the chainsword is your better option for melee. The power sword, I think, might combo better with a plasma pistol. I don't think I ever actually got around to using the plasma pistol along with the power sword for my melee option, but yeah, the chainsword is a better option. You can see I was trying to power up the sword when Titus kind of swings it to his right. I was trying to power it up so it turns blue, but maybe there's a small little recharge timer on it, because the power up is only lasts for I don't even know how long it lasts for, but it's only periodically, and then I'm going to assume it has a charge timer on it since I tried activating it a few times before it actually activated. So that's probably another downside for me is, if I want that option to power up, just give it to me. I don't want to wait for it, especially when I'm in the middle of fighting enemies. But you can also see my health keeps dropping quite a bit when I'm trying to do melee, as opposed to when I had the chainsword, just because I don't have those AoE options that the chainsword gives me, or the stun control when fighting the Nid warriors. So it is harder to use the power sword, but if you want a little more reward, more high risk, high reward, then yeah, the power sword will be your go-to then, until the Thunder Hammer comes around. And I know, and the Thunder Hammer does get introduced into this game a bit later.
Another one dead.
And now that I have more experience with the heavy bolter, which is what you're seeing now, I've finally realized that when you're using ADS and then you're firing, the heavy bolter actually fires faster. But if you're just hip firing it, like I am right here, right now, the shots are slower. I don't know if hip firing the slower shots equals more damage or not, or it could just be more accuracy. I'm not too sure. I couldn't really tell as far as the damage went against these Nid warriors, but yeah, I think it's just to be more conservative with your shots. Otherwise, yeah, heavy bolter is good for these hordes, and you always have that option to look for it when it lets you know that a horde is incoming.
My lord, we may now cross the bridge.
Proceed to the objective.
I will say though that this is the first mission where it feels really, really long, or maybe it just felt long because I was messing around looking at the environment for too long. Probably if I edited out all the footage of me just looking at the environment, it probably takes away maybe 10 minutes or so of total footage, because right now this mission unedited is 45 minutes, so it is a pretty lengthy mission. So I'm just going to split this into two parts because it's way too much editing right now for me.
worked. Let's get down there.
Practical. There's a shortcut across the rooftops to the east. Good. Proceed.
Again, here I get kind of memorized by what I'm seeing. I mean, look at that. That's pretty cool to see. But I quickly kind of slap myself and get out of that and just get back onto focusing the gameplay. I picked up the bolt sniper, and honestly, I think, and having a sniper type weapon in 40k is kind of redundant because you can use the standard bolt rifle, which has a scope in it, and gives you some good zoom, and it does come in semi-auto, and you get more ammo with it. The bolt sniper here, I was just struggling too much to use it. If sniping is your thing, go for it. Maybe it's decent in multiplayer, but in single player, I don't think the bolt sniper really had a place.
My bolter will silence you!
Take out those lines! Need to reload! Come forth and be slaughtered! Reloading weapon!
Honestly, the bolt sniper, I think, just use it if you're going to be facing up against a horde. Quickly take out any nid warriors you can, and then just go back to whatever weapon you were using before, just because it's way too niche of a weapon in the campaign. Not much use for it, and it's not any better to use against bosses and mini bosses. Feels like you can get more damage in just using a standard bolter.
It appears we have their attention.
And they have ours.
Unfortunate for them.
I picked up a heavy bolt rifle, and I always pick it up when I have the option. It actually is, in my opinion, the best weapon to use in the game, unless you like the I think it's the standard bolt rifle, which has, I think it's the semi-auto version, although I think there's also a marksman bolter sniper. Forget what it's called, but it's a semi-auto bolter with a scope feature. But I think this is your perfect medium between the heavy bolter and the standard bolt rifle. So good damage, you get 45 rounds per clip. It's pretty good at medium range, which allows me to deal with this section actually fairly easily compared to previous sections where I've had to do these defense missions and I didn't have the heavy bolt rifle. The difficulty felt as though it kind of naturally increased, even though these videos were recorded on standard difficulty, and I think it's just the nature of progressing further along the story. I believe the highest difficulty is called the Astartes, although I have to double check. If you ever do plan on playing this game and you want to play it on Astartes, you don't have to play it on a lower difficulty to unlock it. You can just play it right away if you want, but it's definitely play it with some friends if you have two people who are into 40k, or if they want to check it out. I mean, if they like horde shooters, you don't need to be a fan of 40k to like horde shooters. But this section was easier to deal with than the previous defense mission, where it was defending that satellite dish, or whatever it was. Either way, still better than dealing with the Ripper swarms. But I felt there were more nid warriors than usual per swarm. But again, I think that's just the nature of the difficulty, or of the story, just kind of, or of you progressing further along the story. But either way, it's still a fun game. It's just, yeah, play it with some friends at the higher difficulties, because you're gonna have a lot of issues dealing with your AI teammates. They still have a cap on their IQ at some point.
moment, brothers. Changing magazine. Ignition secured.
More gargoyles attempted to sabotage!
They harry the chains. Suppressive fire around the chains. Now!
And here I'm just taking one final view of this level now that you get to see a really, really nice looking view. So, yeah, it's quite a view. Again, the whole backdrop just looks like a cathedral, a church. So, good times.
You fought admirably.